going on, y'all? I promised yesterday I wasn't gonna be late. I'm 2 minutes late. You will forgive me, or you won't, whatever. But yeah, what's going on? Wednesday the what? Wednesday the third. Wednesday the 3rd of June. Let's see what we get today, yeah? Oops. And that's me hearing myself speak on stream. My bad. At least what we know is that the stream is working and that we're actually live, right? So we will take that as a dub. I just need to close a couple of windows. I need to close a couple of windows because I was setting up my OBS and yeah, man, my motive wave was lagging. So not an excuse, but a reason as to why I'm here a little late. But yeah, but hopefully we don't get too much of a lag with the motive wave. I also can't be entirely sure whether, like right now, whether this is a lag or whether this is just my laptop being a little glitchy. But it seems like it's moving okay. Let me bring it up on screen now. And what's funny is that, like I said yesterday, didn't I say yesterday? I was like, we need to prepare better. Made a whole thing. As a man, how can you be unprepared? But we're here now. Right? Yeah, we're here now. That's what's important. Okay, cool. Motor wave up. I'm gonna load the I'm gonna put the trade C up on screen also so that you guys can see what we're doing. I'm glad the camera's not doing the same things it was yesterday, but neither here nor there. You guys are not here for an OBS demonstration. So where are you, Tracy? Should be here somewhere. There we go. All right, Tracy up, all the way up. I'm here. Yeah, welcome to the live stream. Fucking finally. Hey, took us a day to get here. Just also want to make sure there's nothing that I don't need that is open. Everything is fine. Yeah, so what are we having today? Hopefully we'll have a little, hopefully today is gonna go better than the last 2 days, but we'll see. Again, I don't have an overall bias, but price has been forming below the view app, and also below the 20 SMA. So the 20 MA. I actually can't remember whether this is an SMA or an EMA. I think it's an EMA on my Keltner. So yeah, pretty extended here. So retrace would make sense. It's around about here. Your 61050s. Yeah, I'd like for price to go horizontally for a little bit and then go to the previous day value area low. Yeah, for a little bit, like maybe for the first 10 minutes. For the first 10 minutes of our window. Yeah. Why? Because if I am gonna trade from zone to zone, I'd want to get an entry from here. If you get an entry from previous day value area low to POC, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch on like everything now so we don't toggle these on and off throughout our session. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have too many things to look at. I don't want to have too many things. I don't want to be going back and forth, when I should really be focusing on the profile as it's developing and price action and yeah, so that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I'm also gonna move this lower. 607, 750 is where we're at. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, my motor wave doesn't seem to be. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me let it be. You know. Let me let it be. 608. Let me see. As long as we're getting the same read on price, because I'd hate for it to be lagging on motor wave, and then yeah, I wouldn't want price to be. I wouldn't want to lag on motor wave. Basically, is what I'm getting at. But yeah, fair value from the Globex session 618.25. Yeah, 618.25 on that. 613.50 is our value area low from the Globex session, which is again another reason why I want to see us like consolidate below for a little bit and then go and test it. Because then whatever happens there is going to be a pretty strong reaction. We're gonna have a pretty strong, we'll have a pretty strong reaction from that level. Why? Because the levels are stacked. So 16, 13, 50, and previous day value. Okay. One second. Your head. Word, guys. It's my mama's best friend. But yeah, welcome back. What was the saying? What was the saying? Yeah, I want price to like form a little below the previous day value area low. Why? Because then it'll be before our window, right? So as long as it's before our window, I want price to be, like here. You get it? Yeah. And then first 10 minutes, first 5-10 minutes, I'm fine with price being there. I think let's start putting our over our yeah, let's put our overnight area, our overnight levels, right? So come on. Yeah, I think my laptop's glitchy today, man. I know it's probably something. I know it's something to do with this new update that I hoid on here. But yeah, 625.75. Yeah, because it's moving really slow and I don't like that. It's just 626.25. 26.25, 18.25, and 13. 26, 18, and 13. 26. I'd hate to have to restart my motorwave, honestly. That would not be fun. And then 18.25, yeah? Okay, cool. So that's New York open right now. 18.25 and 13. Come on. Uh, 18. Yeah, my motorway is being really slow, guys. I'll call that 13. By the looks of it, I think we are gonna get it. We're gonna get like a previous day value area low tag. Not any minute now. 13, 6, 13. Boss. And the wild thing is, I really can't do anything about this right now. If I restart my laptop, that's restarting the stream, and I don't want to do that. Let's give it time. Let's see what happens in the next 15. Yeah, let's see what happens in the next 15. Worst case scenario, I'll just take my trades on TradeC if that's what it comes down to. Because yeah. Or do I switch off big trades? Nah, let's keep everything on. Let's keep things the way that they were. Yeah. So there's that tag. We're gonna stay. We weren't gonna stick around here. So it is what it is, though. Okay. So let's throw a volume profile on here. Maybe I have a volume profile that should be off. We'll check everything. Come on. This is why we gotta make some money, guys. We gotta make some money so we upgrade to an M4. You feel me? Yeah, I don't need that volume profile. I'll get rid of that. What else? Who else is here that doesn't need to be here? May 29. Bruv, me and June. You can fuck off also. Who else is here? 1st of June. Yeah, you can go to. Whom else? Yeah, I think anything that's not relevant to today's trade, we're just gonna get rid of. It's not called today's trade, it's today's session. 2nd of June. 2nd of June. That's like last week's volume profile. Hopefully this gives us a little sum. Yeah, I'll get rid of the overnight volume profile as well. These are all levels. Anything else? Nope. Slightly better. I don't know. Okay. Feels like that took us forever. Also, our New York View app is on also, so we'll see the type of reactions that we get off New York View app. Yeah. Already we have a big seller there. Yeah, let's see if they get result. Let's see if they get any result. So far right from the beginning, it doesn't look like these participants, like in the first 5 minutes, doesn't look like they want us to go into yesterday's value. You know, still too early to call it. Excuse me. Still super early to call it. So, yeah. Are we getting a lag though? I feel like we're getting a lag, bruv. I feel like we're getting some lag. Because our trade C is really moving. You know? Like price on trade C is moving really efficiently. Pourquoi? All right, let's go with it. We'll review. We'll review. As long as like a new candle opens on the minute, then we're fine. You know, what I wouldn't want to see is I wouldn't want to see, I wouldn't want to see like the minute turn. Like say we go to 37 and like we haven't printed the candle for the 37th minute. Do you get me? Maybe another way to check would just be with the time and sales. And just make sure that we're actually moving. See, the time and sales is behind also. Because that's 36, 38, and we're on 10. So, clearly we have a big lag, yeah. Yeah, it's like about like a 30-second lag. That is not good at all. See, 37, new candle, time and sales is still at 36. So, how do I fix this?
Yes, my gal.
Okay, hopefully. Come on. We just. Because this also could be a rhythmic thing, and because my PC seems fine. My laptop seems fine. You know, Tracy's moving fine. I'm fine on stream. My OBS is fine. Yeah, because like restarting this might not be the best idea. Okay. Haven't spoken a single thing on the trades. But at least we're like not that far behind with the time and sales anymore, right? 13 seconds. Come on. 8 seconds now. 24, 25, 26, 10 seconds. 32. Come on. Once we can get the time and sales to catch up with the time, then I'll be a lot happier. Still a 10-second delay though, which, if you know, you know. New print. Maybe a time and sale is not going to be that reliable today. Yeah, okay. Still no time and sales today. Sorry. Sorry. We're just gonna have to use regular price action as yeah, as as we typically would, but it would have been nice to have a read on the tape still. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, time and sales is all caught up now. 51, 53. There we go. Okay, cool. Now we good now. Oh, thank God I didn't restart because that could have been another 20 minutes just waiting for things to be fine. Honestly, at this point, it does look like we might have like a really crazy down day. This is my previous week value area high. I did like check on Substack and with like a couple of other order flow traders, and like their previous week value area high is different from mine, and I think it's because like they didn't consider last week's Monday, because last week Monday was a bank holiday, so possibly, I think possibly that's why it's not in there. It isn't in there. What do I want to say? Yeah, it's not within the parameters of what they're considering as the previous week's value, So that's why. But very possible that we target previous week value area high. We also have like previous day levels from the day prior to yesterday, the day before yesterday, which would be what, Monday. Yeah, I think that's where, remember, we had like on that Monday we had like that test of a previous week value area high, and yeah, so that's where Monday's levels are. I just remember it because like I remember this level being really significant on that day, and this holding really strongly. So possibly, you know, possibly we could be targeting this. Also, a big buyer there at the point of control. They didn't get what they wanted, So, yeah, we'll see. We still have 4 more minutes before we start actually considering what we're gonna do. I'm not like too comfortable with like shorting this. Yeah, my break and retest towards the downside haven't been favorable for me so far. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. But if that's what we get, that's what we get. Um, yeah, just uncomfortable. I'm just not super comfortable with that. But yeah, everything kind of looks stacked now for a bearish day. VWAP over there, the SMA over here, New York VWAP over here, and just like if you're looking at it directionally, and also plus this failed buy here, you know. So we'll see. 3 more minutes, and then 2 more minutes, and then we'll see what makes more sense to do. Because again, like shorting this target is like so far, so we need to let go of 600s, and then we're targeting 580, flat, 582. You know, that's, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, shame.
There's nothing in between here. So, you know what I mean? Did Sabalenka lose?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Sorry. Sorry. 6-0.
Yeah. Got nothing.
Damn.
Six.
I hope I don't have that type of day, yo. I don't want a 6-0 type of day. But yeah, 600, this is a psychological level. So what do we do? Are they going to buy this back up or are they going to flush it? You know. And I'm always going to say they because, like, remember, we don't have that much power to... We don't have that much power to, like, affect the markets. Like, all of us retail traders, you know, so... And then also there's the fact that this is an evaluation, so this is sim, so, you know, the people who are really moving the market are the big institutions, and you know what I'm saying? Those are the people really who are in control and who are in charge of this. Yeah, we like let go of like 600s hectically. Hectically. Like these people gotta go. And they gotta let go of their they gotta let go of their positions if they haven't already. 593, 593. What is this? Where was this? This was 600. If we do a break and retest of 600, stop at 605. Yeah, that's our window. So maybe yeah, maybe this, maybe something like that. You know, maybe something like that. That's 600. What is this level though on the value, on the volume profile? Yeah, it's 600 flat. So yeah, so maybe a retest of 600 and then to the downside, stop at 60525. Let me set that now as an idea. Gotta make sure you guys can actually see everything. Damn, it looks really bad on trade CFA test 4. Also, we're rotating, so oh, that looks horrible. 5, yeah. Cool. We might actually not get this, so, but let's see. Hopefully this moves lower. If it does, and remember I was saying, oh, I don't know if we're gonna get like that test of previous week value area high. There we are, right at previous week value area high. right there. You know, the move that I thought was a little too deep to happen, and we got it. Well, we didn't get it, but yeah. Let's see if we can get a retrace. You know, probably like a level where we could retrace to is this. That's 591. This is a high volume node over here. You know, and then we have a low volume node over here, so maybe possibly also 594. 594 also could be an entry. Or we tag this in bounce. Let's see if the previous week value area high holds. Yeah, let's see if it holds. then yeah. Nope. So clearly, these guys won here. 580. What are we saying? 582.75. And yeah, I mean our value area is also moving lower, so um, I don't know. I don't know about doing a retest. I don't know about doing a retest of previous week value area high. Mm. Because then where would the stop go? On the other side. Just like maybe after that high volume node? 587. 582, 587 as a stop? I don't know. I think I'll just wait for the volume profile tag 592.25. That's where we're at now. 592. $25. Cool, but then where's my stop? Ugh, that's not cool. I mean, still going by the same. I'm actually like thinking about it a little more. If we do retrace all the way back here, then the previous week value area high would be the target. Alright? Because this wouldn't have held really well. So that, like that, and then I will stop. We'll be relying on that low volume node to act as a stop. I don't know. And that's moved lower as well. Let's move lower again. 589.25. Yeah, let's let this sit for a little bit. 582.75. Mm-hmm. That actually keeps moving lower, so 587.50 now. But that's kind of giving us a bottom, so maybe we actually might rotate to the upside depending on how we react here, you know. Yeah, I think I might reverse this and buy 582.75. I'm just thinking that actually could be a better trade. That could be a better trade because we held this on Monday, you know. Maybe it's, and also we're overextended, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be trying to sell a bottom like that. Do I? No, I don't. We'll remove that order. Let's think about this again. This makes more sense now. 582.75. Yeah. 582.75. Let's buy 582.75 instead. Come on. Yeah. We'll do 5 contracts as well. Our stop will be just below that if we get it. So let's flip that around. Yeah. Let's do that. My stop is still like really, really deep though. I ain't gonna lie. because my stop loss would have to be here. And that is a lot more. That's about, yeah, it's about like 275. It's a stop loss. I don't like that. It's a little too much. And our ATR is 5, so maybe if I make it 1.5 times the ATR. Possibly 578. Because if these don't hold, then ugh. Yeah. And then where would our target go? Maybe we target POC. And we do something like this. And you target the point of control. Yeah. Yeah. Let's give it a try. 574 would be our stop. 574. Or maybe we could use a big buyer as yeah, maybe we could use a big buyer as like where we'd put our stop, you know. But first we actually need to get tagged first. Five what? 582. This is low key a Hail Mary trade, honestly. Because, and also, do we have news? I didn't check that. I didn't check if we have a news event, but that makes sense though. As a trade idea, I think that makes sense. Given what? Given this is just based on the Keltner channels, if I'm to keep it a buck. Point of control just shifted now, so what's up with that? Because that was gonna be our target. Now that's changed. Sounding like this a lot less now. Yeah, we'd have to. What would we use as a stop, though? Is my question. Now that point of control is shifted lower. Yeah, I think let's call this one off, guys. I don't feel as good about it anymore. Okay, let's let it play out. Let's let it play out. I am just also just using the Keltner channels to kind of create the logic around why we could rotate back up. You get me? I just don't like how big my stop is. That's my only thing. I just don't like how big the stop is. Maybe I take size off then, hey. You know? If I take maybe I take 3. If I take 3 off and we just go at it with 2 contracts and we see. And then if we do get it, then, yeah, let's protect the capital. Let's be smart about this. Yeah. Let's be smart, guys. What are we saying? What's that level? 580, 582.75, right? No. Yeah, let's do it with 2 contracts instead. And then, yeah. And then I'll comfortably put my stop here. You get it? I'll comfortably put my stop there. But I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I don't want to oversize and then like we're wrong about the idea and then that's just gonna be a lot more drawdown to get out of. So we might not actually even have to worry about that at all. Okay. That is so gone though. Ugh. Let's see, maybe on this candle. Nope. And I also don't like buying point of control, but maybe that would be a better entry. It's just that like the higher our entry becomes, right, the wider our stop has to be. So and I don't, I'm not with that 1,000%. You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to put a really wide stop. I wouldn't want to have a wide stop. Like this is already a little too much. Like 9, that's like 9, almost 9 points as a stop, and yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, if we do get tagged though, if we do get that retraced, then perhaps VWAP would be a good exit. If we want to be really moderate, I think we could like really close the trade here at 602. At 602, if we do get tagged in though. So only 2 minutes past 4 now. So yeah, what was our initial trade idea? I think we wanted to short. We were gonna short it here. Yeah, we were gonna short it around about this area actually. We'd be in shorts right now. Right? Was it 690? Can't remember. But yeah, but we'd be in shorts right now. Possibly. let's see. Actually, before the point of control shifted. Yeah, that was gonna be our stop. 600, yeah. We're gonna short 600. I think that's what we're trying to do. Still valid, could be. Could be. Six. But yeah, but then also like argument could be if we do go through like all of this low volume, right? Then and we do get to that shelf, why wouldn't we rotate all the way to the top of where the actual current value area high is now? Right? Like why wouldn't we go all the way here? So just gotta sit and wait. Just gotta sit and wait. If the point of control does shift lower though, I would be a lot happier. Like if the point of control goes to where the previous week value area high is, I would be a lot happier because then that would be stacked levels and that would be a really good entry. I think that'd be a good place to enter, and still entering for long. You know, you know, and yeah, trying to see if like my stop can be smaller, because also again as much as this is about like say catching moves, right? Like making money off like expansion moves, it is also very much about protecting the money that you do have. So yeah, because if it's not, if you don't, if you okay, say, and I've done this before, so I can speak on this like clearly. You you have like $2,000 worth of drawdown, and you consistently lose $100 of it, right? You need to lose 20 days in a row for you to lose the entire account, right? That's 20 days consistently. Damn, just noticing my camera went off. Oops. Are we back? Okay, we're back now. But yeah, I was saying, imagine you picture you. Okay, you have $2,000 worth of drawdown. If you lose $100 of that every day, you need to lose 20 days in a row. So 100 today, 100 tomorrow, 100 the next day. 5 days, 5 day losing streak, followed by another 5 day losing streak, followed by another 5 day losing streak, followed by another five. I think at that point, if you're having like 15-day losing streaks, then like you really need to assess and check what you're doing. Not financial advice, but you know, realistically. So with that in mind, like I thought about I went through the losing streaks, right? After having gone through like a massive win streak. I think like my longest winning streak was, and this is in days, not just like in trades. So the number of days you close green, not necessarily like the you take a trade and you win a trade, you take a trade and you win a trade. Nah, I'm talking about like by the end of the day, right? Are you profit? Are you in profit or are you in drawdown? And I went through a 10-day streak, which was like every day for 10 days, which was insane. You can imagine my confidence skyrocketed. You know what I'm saying? There was like pretty much nothing I felt I couldn't do at that point. But then now when the losing streaks came, right? And the losing streak came, and it came hard. Like it came almost immediately after that. So first day red, second day red, third day red, fourth, fifth day, you know. And then I think like the following week, then I won something. I won one. I had a green day, and then I had another green day, and then like the streak continued, and yeah, that kind of sucked to go through. But it's the reason why it's so important to make sure you whatever whenever you do have your red days, make sure your red days are smaller than your green days. You know, um, kind of trying to survive long enough for you to participate in your 14-day, in your 10-day winning streak if you ever do get one. You know, so that's why I sized down. That's why I sized down on this trade from 5 contracts to 2 on this particular trade. You know, it will be if we do get the if we do get what I'm trying to target, it was still would be like $200. But for big move, of course, if we add the contracts back in, that would be 500. But just thinking about it from the side of if you win the trade is dangerous, because also what if you lose it? You know, best loser wins. So type of thing. So yeah, so that's why I've sized down. I haven't had a cup of coffee today. Also could be a reason why like my energy levels are a little calma, a little reserved. It's all good though. I am also trying to to reduce my caffeine. I said this yesterday. I don't wanna be caffeinated after 4 p.m. But yeah, I took like uh, an antihistamine last night, and I don't recommend. Slept like a baby. I was like flat out. So possibly also at this point, I can see us like rejecting New York View app and coming back. And coming back to come and test like initial balance. Is initial balance low? Or, yeah. But yeah, I still would want to see the previous week value area high hold. I would want to see it hold. This is the low volume node I was talking about, and let me draw it out. It's a low volume node because, as the name implies, it is low volume in this area. I believe, yeah, this is like our low volume node. One of. So, and that's why we got like this, this is how we got this massive spike down. Like there was no, those, there were more, there were more participants hitting the bid than they were hitting the ask. Which is why we got that drop in price, right? Demonstrada. So anytime for price to move up, these the bids, these are aggressive participants. They have to cross, right? So they have to go from here and get whatever's on the ask on this side, right? This is why these guys are aggressive, because they're crossing the bid, the ask. They're crossing price basically to get filled, right? Because whoever's on this side wants to sell, like say at 592.75, you're 36, 37, 39, this number over here, of people want to sell at 592.75. And their thing is, it's cool, we will wait for price to get to us for us to get filled. And so these guys are passive participants, right? They're waiting for their orders to get filled, right? for whatever reasons. It could be for hedging. It could be, I don't know. It could be for anything. All right. And then the people who are participating here, these are people who want to get filled right now. So these are aggressive participants, right? These are the people who are crossing. They're saying, okay, cool. Like, I want to buy right now. I will buy from the next best bid. From the next best ask. Sorry, right? So they'll cross and hit like 59625, right? And buy from the passive sellers who've been waiting at this level, at this price to get filled, right? And same thing with the sellers, right? Because remember, if you're gonna sell, you have to sell to someone who's willing to buy. You're not just like selling to the like in the air. You sell to someone who's willing to buy, and you buy from someone who's willing to sell. So that's how the market basically facilitates trading, right? That's how it facilitates the auction. So this as a low volume node, right? There wasn't a lot of participation here, hence the low volume, right? Like these bars here are volume. This is where the volume is. So that's how you at least that's how I understand it. That's how I understand it. I don't know about this previous week buy anymore. Let's take that off. I don't think we're gonna get that. It's 16, 15. Let's just like wait for it to close. Let's just wait for the minute to close and then cool. Call it. That's a dead order. Okay. Let's start thinking around like what we could also get here. Maybe a rotation from the previous, not from the previous, but from the developing volume profile. Possibly. Yeah. And then, yeah. Let's delete that. Maybe let's make this lighter because I don't want this to give us. I don't want this to influence me too strongly. I'll just make it a lighter color. All right. So low volume node there. If this gets filled, then it starts being a low volume node. But yeah, I guess now what we can look at now is whether we buy New York VWAP or whether we sell it again. Because again, this is this area here. Oopsie. Let's throw it out. So between the low volume node and VWAP here, right? This is where, there's going to be some form of like a battle here, right? Because again, New York VWAP, there are going to be participants trying to buy this, and then there's also a low volume node that people are going to be selling, or trying to sell off of. Yeah. So this is probably going to be chopped for a little bit, which is fine. Is there any trade that we could have got? I don't think so, man. I don't think we missed anything really. We would have had to be like super aggressive if we're gonna make or take anything. Yeah, like this trade would have been in the first 3 minutes of New York session. Who does that? Someone with a lot of money. Not me yet, not yet. So we were gonna take that. Our window starts at 15 minutes into the New York session. So no key level that we're at round about here. So and then we did the previous week value area high. Wanted to see if we were gonna get a break and retest of it. We didn't. We actually held it. So this is a look below and fail. We did wait for the retest of previous week value area high. Didn't get that. We also did try to sell 600. Yeah. So it's not like we didn't try anything. We did try to sell 600 as a logical level. Yeah, which was also the high volume node that we spoke about. Right? Just as we broke, just after we made that break with that candle. Yeah, around about here. That's where we considered 600 as a place, as somewhere to put a short. We didn't get that. Waited for the retest of previous week value high. We didn't get that either. Yeah, and so here we are. Also, we had a shift of POC, so you know, it is a little, confusing. I'm not gonna lie. Let's get rid of the high volume node, and yeah, we know that is there. Or should we? Let's keep it on. We'll see. We'll see how price develops around that area. Again, this does look like we possibly could sell the VWAP. 594. Yeah, we just did. I feel like I speak it and then it happens. Super clean. Selling that VWAP to point of control. How many points is that? Actually, could have been a good trade. And now our point of control is shifted. That was like a 7 point. Shout out to you if you caught that. We still are rallying up though, so that is something to consider. But this is a wall. We've shown that here. Possibly we sell point of control again, and then we come and we do a retest of previous week value area high. That's a possibility as well. Lots of ifs and a lot of scenarios. Okay. Let's rank them from what would be my best entry. Okay. My best entry would be a break of this high volume node, and a break of the developing high value area. Yeah, a break of that and a retest. 155,000 points. I don't want that. And we would be I'd target the IP. I target IPI. Right. So break and retest of that, targeting that. Best case scenario. What I'd want to see. Why? Because then this would clearly be support. Yeah. This would act as really clean support. Yeah. And also my stop loss would be small, so I could also size up. That's what I'd like to see. Second best case scenario. Just think about that. Second best case scenario, we actually retrace. We come all the way down to IB. We come all the way down to initial balance low. Look below and fail. Get a retrace all the way to New York VWAP. That would be fantastic. Let me draw it out for you guys so you see. Let's start with the first case scenario. The first best case scenario. Actually, IB even could be too far. Maybe up to the previous day value area high. So something like this. Yeah. Something like that. I think that's about like a 3-point stop loss. That would be cool. Something like this. If we can get a break. Also, that's right at 600. Our value area high is at 600, so that would be like us clearly buying 600, like claiming 600s back. Then for sure. That's best case scenario number one. And then if we don't get that though, And then, we break below. Yeah, we break below. We fail to claim below initial balance. We come back above, and then we get we can fade initial balance. You know, that would be fantastic. Everything else is kind of a secondary play, which I'm not. Yeah, everything else is kind of a secondary play. There's that selling of VWAP again. If we break this low, then we're gonna come and test previous week value area high. If we get below previous week value area high, I would like to see a test of initial balance. We didn't get the test to the downside on Monday, which was disappointing. It was disappointing, but yeah, I guess those are like the two scenarios that like I would much rather play. I'd rather play like a break up to the upside and the retest of value area high, or fading initial balance. I wouldn't want to sell. I wouldn't want to buy previous week value area high anymore because we're so close to initial balance being set. And I like, again, like, we did measure it out, like, from here. This was about an 8-point stop loss, and so I don't want to. I'd rather not play. I'd rather enter from initial balance. You know, but that's getting a look below and fail. Look below and fail, and then buying into the upside. Still, either way, even if we get a look below and then like we retest it, then for sure I can see point of control being a target. Still would be massive drop because now we're looking at like 30 something points, 34 points. That's basically a swing trade at this point. At that point, so that also makes me a bit uncomfortable because there are no obvious targets unless I switch to like a 1 hour and then I target lows from there. But that reminded me that at some point we are gonna have to roll over the charts because we're using the June contract, and that's gonna expire on the 18th. So we're gonna need to. We are going to need to change that. Laptop wasn't charging. But we're good now. Ooh. Chop City, bitch. Chop City, bitch. 10, 10, 10, 50s and 20. Yeah. That's my stomach. Possibly a rotation also from here. 597, 575. Possibly. We could get that low key D-shape. Not really, but low key. Yeah. So many things that have to go away for us to like even make an entry. I think that's possibly maybe one of the other things that I can say confidently I've got a lot better with, right, is knowing which trades to try and which ones not to. Yeah, I know. Like yesterday, we did try a fade of a volume node, but it made sense. It made sense. You know. But yeah, just kind of like knowing when to and when not to is just as important. I feel like that's the bigger way. That's the best way to actually manage risk. Because if we do get a 15, if we do get to 5:30 my time, right, 11:30 EST, and there's nothing that's presented itself as a setup, I will walk away. I'm cool with that. You know, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to force things. This could be forcing something. For example, I in the past I would have done something like this and gone for overnight value area low, and then put my stop loss here. Something like this. And the thing is, like, it does make sense, right? It does make sense. Like you're buying with the momentum, right? You're buying with the momentum ish. You know, considering this like uptrend. Consider this as you know, as rebalancing or a sweep of liquidity, however you want to think of it, all the way to the upside. Yeah. But then you see, like, as much as that could work, it could also not. You know, it could also not. This could be a magnet. You know, this actually could be a bigger pullback, right? This could just be like a little pullback for continuation to the downside. Could be. You know, and then also what's really discouraging me from doing something like this is also the size of the stop, and how much would be required as like risk. You know, this wouldn't be like too bad. It's like 225. So yeah, it's like 225 as a stop, but I don't know. I just don't like the probabilities of this working out. At least not. At least not until like this. Like we see what's happening with this low volume node. So not something that I'd do right now. You know. Yeah. My camera keeps going off, bro. We might actually need to just switch to the. We might need to be humble and just switch to the front camera. You know. But yeah, here's that retest of that low volume node. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, that's my stomach. The boy hungry. We're gonna reject that again. Multiple reasons to do that also. High value area there. You know? High value, yeah. Value area high, rather. Big seller here. Let's see if this guy wins. Okay, and also initial balance is officially set, so we might actually get a play on initial balance. But yeah, we're gonna have that battle again, yeah. You know, that little dance. New York VWAP. Yeah, someone's gonna have to skedaddle. Someone's gonna have to skedaddle. 597 to what? To 590. Still a wide stop though. We break to the upside maybe. And see, we're buying VWAP again. 593. 593, 590. Where would this? Yeah, even entering on VWAP is a bit tricky because this is see how like that's almost like it's like right there. That's like twice now. So clearly someone doesn't want to move out the way here. 597. Let's see. Who are you? Where's she at? Your baby mom and me both you single. Where's she at? Drake's a clown. Such a troll. 574. Nothing. Was that 600? No. Even if we had waited, even if we had kept the 600 short, we still wouldn't have got it, eh? Like we still would have been waiting this entire time. And I think like trying to short 600 at this point would be like really, really dumb. You know, I think it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be a smart move. I don't think it would be smart anymore. Because for that to happen, we'd have broke through like this volume node. So that would be momentum because the volume node is acting as a wall. You know, like when like they hit it first time, failed. Hit it second time, failed. So if they once they get through this is gonna, you know. So I wouldn't wanna be shorting against momentum. You know, so. And I mean, if we do buy the POC, the point of invalidation would be the bottom of this candle. You know, this would be the invalidation point of that trade. But then again, that's like my thing is, why would I buy something? Like, why would I buy point of control when we have previous week value area high below it, which we haven't retested, and we have an initial balance which we also haven't retested? So, just wait. Just gotta wait. This is gonna be interesting to watch during like my reviews and stuff, like at the end of the week. You know, I need to use the bathroom. Yeah, we back. Oh, third time. What did I miss? Damn. Good thing we drew that volume note there because you know what I'm saying. We could. I'm thinking. I don't like thing is that I don't like doing. I don't like doing. What are they called? Buy stops and so I don't like I don't like stop orders. You know, because we could put a stop order above, but putting a stop order. Difference between a buy limit and a buy stop, right? Is with a buy limit, what we're saying is we're waiting for, like when price is above our entry, we're waiting for it to retrace and then go, right? But then if we put a buy stop, that's like when price is below our desired entry, and we want to go with price as soon as that level is tagged. Right? It still kind of serves the same purpose in the sense that like you get filled, but then one is you get filled after your own set of conditions. Like so, for example, well, both are like after your own set of conditions, right? But what I'm saying is like if price moves in a certain direction and then it comes in and retests, I'm a lot more comfortable with that than price is getting to a level, because then if it fails to break, then you don't get that move, right? You could easily get stopped out. Like so, for example, like that's 597, right? Price did go to 59725. So if we had put a buy stop above 597 and say we call it 59725 to say, yo, as soon as price goes above this, then tag us in for a long entry. Then we would have been tagged in, but then price didn't go above it. So, you know, now you'd be in drawdown. Whereas you could wait for like a clear break of a value area or of an area or level, and then wait for for price to come and retest that, which is I feel is a stronger signal. You know, it's one of those things. It's like support becoming resistance, resistance becoming support. So yeah, all this learned in like the 500 plus trades that I took this year. And 500 plus, not like 500 plus quality trades, dude. Like, I would have like made maybe like 6 or 7 entries already by this time, which possibly could be a lot more entertaining for the stream. But I am, I'm not really here for purely entertainment reasons. You know, this is not purely for entertainment. I generally do want to pass this evaluation, and I want to get it funded. So, I'm just gonna have to do things the right way, slowly but surely. We'll get there. We'll get there. You know. All right, here we go. Should we watch the tape? Let's put the tape on. We'll see. Yeah, if we start getting speed on it, then that also would be encouraging for like an up move. So think more seeing higher blueprints. Yeah. So 590, pay attention if you start seeing 596, 596, 597. That's like, yeah, if we can break this little high on the node here, you know, just gonna have to wait. 94s. That was interesting. 593.50. We're actually like selling this badly. 592.75. Bought 93s. 592.50s, 75s. Just watching the. Oh. It's gone. 592s. 91s, 91.50. Yeah, buddy. Just gonna have to wait. I also wanted, low-key, I would use CVD. I would use the cumulative volume delta. But I do feel like I'm already looking at a lot of things on the screen. Yeah, I'm already kind of looking at a lot of things on the screen. I don't want to let go. I don't want to stop using View app. Yeah, I don't want to stop using View app because it does come in handy. Yeah, and I also feel like if I add something new at this point, like it'll be like starting again. It's like starting all over again. So I don't wanna. Yeah, I don't want to start adding things now. I feel like what we have is enough. And honestly, I mean, we could do without the Keltner channels, but without them, okay. Let's go at things one at a time, and give reason as to why they are on the charts. Okay. This would be a nice little thing to clip up also for the YouTube. Yeah. I don't know how many minutes into stream we are, but this would be cool. Why do we have the Keltner channels? Well, we have the Keltner channels set. Let me switch everything else off. I'll keep you on. Giving away secrets now. We have the Keltner channels set because the Keltner channels inform me whether the price is overextended or not. And by overextended, I mean like whether we've got to, whether we're like oversold or overbought. Right? It's like, oh, we've got to like the very top of like where we can sell and the very bottom of where we can sell in relation to a moving average. Okay, so that's why that's how this is drawn. All right, so that's the moving average, and the dotted lines are a certain ATR away from the SMA. Okay, so how do I use it? So for one, if price is below the Keltner channel, then I would be thinking of selling more than I would of buying. But then also that comes with a little bit of discretion and a little bit of oversight, because for one, just because we're below the Keltner channel doesn't mean that then you should just sell, right? And again, the opposite applies. Just because we're above the Keltner channel doesn't mean that you should just buy, right? Context and discretion is also important. So for today, when we broke past like those lows and remember we were like looking for a retrace to 600 so we could sell 600, right? And then we broke below like that dotted line, and that showed me that like, okay, at this point we're kind of like overextended. And even as much as like I was still waiting for that 600, we did change our bias from looking for a sell to then looking for a buy. Reason being, we're overextended, and so the next logical thing to happen is for price to retrace at least back to the SMA, right? Hence why we looked for the buy at the previous week value area high. All right, so when we changed our buys and we started looking for a retrace to the previous week value area high to then look for the long move up. We didn't actually get tagged in and price didn't move higher. Right? So that's why we have the Keltner channel on the charts. Yeah. Imagine for free. Just got that for free. So yeah, so everything like technicals are easy to learn. I think like everyone can learn technicals, you know. Yeah, technicals are probably like the easiest part of trading to learn. It looks complicated, but it's not. It really isn't. Like like every platform has got like a whole bunch of like every platform has its own set of tools and its own set of indicators and whatever, right? And there are indicators that promise to do magic for you, like some indicators that would trade for you or whatever. So but the reality of it is, you know, you can use anything. You can use anything. You could, I could just use the Keltner channels, but then I wouldn't have context of like levels to trade from. You know, even like with the volume profile, you could just trade the volume profile from just what you're seeing. You could just like buy a value area low and target a point of control, or sell a point of control, target a, you could do anything you want, but yeah, like putting these on and understanding what they do and what they are and what this represents, that's like the easy part. The difficult part is now the discretion as to creating a story behind like what's happening in the market. Your story could be accurate or your story could be wrong, but at the end of the day, like what you're creating a thesis as to why you're doing certain things and as to why certain things don't make sense anymore. I think that's like what actually used to fuck me up a lot right at the beginning, was like trying to figure out, like having figured something out but then not changing my bias quick enough. Like where it's like, oh yeah, just because like I was like really looking for shorts, I can't see anything other than shorts. As much as like as much as like the chart is presenting itself in a way, it's giving me clues, right? Like these guys are leaving clues behind, as to what they're doing, what they don't want to do, and which levels will hold, which levels won't hold, etc. So you know what I mean? Just like kind of like marrying a bias and then not changing your mind quick enough. That actually used to mess me up a lot. I'm not like the best at it yet, but with time, you know, with time. So I guess that's what developing an edge is. I guess that's what developing an edge is. Yeah. Got 25 minutes left. My lips were drizzy dry. Yeah. IB players are still. I think an IB play would be. I think an initial balance play would still be valid if we can get there. So that's like a big if we can get there. Again, just like from the Keltner channels, you see like we're also getting overextended again. Once we get to like around about like these dotted lines, it's also not to say that like once we get here we're gonna reverse, right? Because look at that, like we tagged that and then we just went through it, and then we retraced into that kind of like area. I'm sure if you use your view apps with standard deviation bands, this would have been like a certain number of standard deviation bands away from the view app, possibly two, like just from how far it is from view app. also could be one way to see what's going on with price. But yeah, this does not want to give us like a clean entry, eh? Again, that also could be a trade, but then, you know, this is risky. I mean, everything is risky, but this is risky because we're like so close to the initial balance, right? We could get a 579 and then go and tag the initial balance, and then you look like an idiot. You look like an idiot because you couldn't just wait another 30 minutes, having waited for an hour and a half. You know. Also, another thing I was thinking about last night, just is when I went to bed, and it's like after I journaled and I, after having journaled, and it's like thinking about like the trades that we have taken so far. I was thinking about like patience, bro, and I was like, you know what? I really can't use the. I've been waiting for so long. I've been, I've been on stream. I've been on stream the whole day. Like I really wanna just like take a trade, whatever, right? Because for one, I haven't been on stream the whole day, and two, it's only been. Yesterday's stream was like an hour 45. The day before was 2 hours, right? And it might feel like I was waiting for an eternity to make a trade, but the reality of it is, come Monday, I had waited the entire weekend for me to get to the market, and then on Tuesday I waited an entire 24 hours before I could then trade again. And same thing today, I had to wait an entire 24 hours before I could come and open my laptop and do this. Alright, so I can't wait. I can't wait. So there's absolutely no. I have the evidence of that. I have the evidence of I can be patient. Because even as much as I would want to trade, like I'm not gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and be a little market fiend. Give me some contracts. You got a little, you got a bit of that NQ, bro. Nah, fuck that. Gotta wait. At least practicing that patience for your setup. And also there's that whole thing of you can wait for it the entire day and it could present itself and you could still lose. But yeah. Damn, is it like a news event? We still have volume. We have like 535,484. I don't know if that's five. That's like the number of contracts or the number of lots. We will calculate that at some point. Do you want to see if let's see if we have any news. Yeah, let me put that on a separate window so that you don't miss price. Services PMI. That was apparently a red folder. PMI, a red folder news event. Crude Cushing? Yeah, whatever that is. But that's at 4:30. That's done. Fed's beige book. Yeah, dude, there's like absolutely nothing. What's the other one? My FX book. News. Today is the third, hey. Yeah, PMI was supposed to be like a big red folder thing. Maybe that's what that was. This was it? Nah. See, it didn't even have like that much of a move. At least not on the ES. NQ probably did something because NQ is crack. Oh, there's a Fed speech. Fed goals B. That explains it. How long is this dude speaking for? Better not be talking all day. Do I even want to listen to him speak? I don't know. Do I? I want to say this could be the reason why we're getting like expansive moves, but I mean, yeah, maybe. He's also new. He's the new Fed guy, right? He's a new Fed chairperson or whatever. He's our new Papa Pao. Not my Facebook. What is it called? Financial juice. U.S. Treasury Secretary, we have a spending and growth problem. Yeah, we don't give a fuck. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio, U.S. forces protecting commercial ships. Israel PM Netanyahu ends remarks on CNBC. I miss the days when we didn't know who was the president of places. Who's the president of Israel? I don't know. Yeah, these guys are getting too much airtime. Like, they're on the TV more than like rappers. You know, it's like they want to have their own TMZ. You know what I mean? It's like everybody want to be famous. But yeah, I honestly do not see anything right now, bro. I'll keep it a buck. Any trade that we take right now will be forcing things. You know what I'm saying? It would 100% be forcing things. It would be like, how can it? It would be like, it would be like following a 10. It would be like following a baddie on the gram, right? And then sending like good morning text every day. Just forcing things. Like, yeah, she might reply, but you also might not like the reply, is what I'm getting at. Wow, bang of an analogy. Fantastic analogy. Did you hear that, bro? Did you hear my analogy? I'm saying there's like pretty much no trade for me here, right? And I'm saying forcing a trade at this point will be like messaging a baddie. We'll be like following a baddie on the gram and then texting a good morning every day. Oh, yeah? Because you could reply. You know what I'm saying? But you also might not like the reply. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I said I was gonna use this one today. The green snake is inside the green grass. And it wants to bite who? Me. Where? Yeah. I can see it. Ain't none though. Ain't none. Ain't nothing but a G thing. I'm about to pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. guess. Yes, value area high to POC. I guess. Yeah. Again, forcing things though. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'd have been forcing things. Because stops would have gone away. Where would stops have gone? Just after the high volume node? Forcing things. Yeah, man. I mean, I guess we give it like another 25 minutes, and then if like nothing happens for us, then nothing happens for us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Failed buyer here, so possibly we could finally get that test of previous week value area high. You know. Which I'm really clinging on to as a level because like I did draw my previous week levels from Monday, from last week Monday to last week Friday, and that's still given that like Monday was a bank holiday in the States, right? I still marked it out like that, you know. So I don't know. We will see. Yeah. Could get some. Yeah. Again, just to like refresh, like the things that we are looking for, looking at. First of all, you know, if we get a break, like this would be my best case scenario and something that I would like to trade, right? Would be a break of this low volume node, and then getting a retest of it or a retest of high of the value area high, you know, for maybe for previous day value area low, or possibly for initial balance, you know. But then again, you know, it's looking at the shape of the Keltner channels now. I don't think we'll get that. Yeah. You know, this is the multiple of ATR from the SMA. You know? So from this point to that point, I really like I set mine to 2.5. So 2.5 by 2.250 would be the distance between here, 594, and what is that? And 608. You know, ish. Actually, could be capped. I actually could be lying. It could be more. Also, I could have set my ATR to 10. You know, I could be lying. I'll check. I'll check and I'll do a video on it later. But yeah. Nah, actually, I'm right because it's not using this ATR. It's using the ATR in 5-minute candles. So that's kind of adding an extra layer of complexity to it. But if you think about it, like the SMA is a simple moving average, so it's averaging the price of the last certain number of candles, right? So if you use like a 20 SMA, it's gonna add up the 20 candles from that point, and then it's going to divide them by 20, and then that's how it plots that line. So it's like averaging the price. You get it? So yeah. So same thing here. I believe this is 20 SMA, but it's not finding the average of the last 21-minute candles. It's finding the average of the last 5-minute candles. So that's how we're working that out. That's how we're working that out. Yeah. So slow though. Such a slow day. POC again. Flattening out. $590. One thing that I will say though is that like we've really held below 600. Like once we drop below 600, we haven't come back there. I don't know if there are any big order. I mean, obviously there would be. This should be like someone. Should be a couple of orders at 600. Yeah, 127. So that also could be like massive resistance. As long as like these guys don't pull, then that's gonna act as a wall. That's 600. 591. That's our point of control as well. Let's just like see who has like big orders here, and then we'll see whether that's a significant level. 593. 590. Yeah. 593. See, that's our New York VWAP. That's our New York VWAP. 593, 592. I think that's our point of control, is it? Nah, just above. Yeah, so I mean, five 580 also seems like really protected, like 211. And then what? And then 574. That's like low of day. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if we can get this initial balance low. 580. What is 580 though? That's that who's at 580? Like what's going on here? Because it's not okay. We did have a lot of selling here that didn't work out for these guys, eh? And then also there was a sell at 166. Well, at 575. So yeah. They've been put underwater for it would suck to be them right now. And then, so we got sellers there, sellers here, sellers here, sellers here, sellers here. So these guys are like, have been in a lot of pain, you know. They could have got out anyway. They could have got out here, you know. So yeah, but that's that 580, and that's that wall at 580. Yeah, 140 contracts. 140 contracts at 580. Yeah. Yeah, because below 574, I mean, it's looking pretty thin. Looking pretty. I mean, in comparison, you know. So, but yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't want to wait beyond. I wouldn't want to wait beyond 5:30 to do that. You know, so yeah. Also, trading after New York lunch is hectic. It's hectic. I don't know what those guys have for lunch, but whenever they come back, you know, there's always a secondary move. Someone did say someone said they put a New York, well, they have New York view app and Globix view app, and then they also put a view app over London, not at London, over the lunch, from the beginning of lunch, on yeah, from the beginning of lunch during New York. So I again, I don't want to be adding in. I don't want to be adding things. I don't want to be adding things. Yeah, I don't want to be adding things because then basically we're just like starting all over again. Because then now you have to learn how to use those things. In yeah, so I would much rather not. Oh yeah. And when we did get here, we did buy this like very confidently, like with a lot of energy. You know, how many contracts was that? Was I could see that's 131. I just want to see what was the one below that. 163, 131. So bought that 163, 131. They tried to sell it, failed. So these guys are also underwater. So a lot of selling didn't get any joy here. You know, yeah, and these guys as well. Sellers. You know, now it's this guy who's underwater now, and low key these guys too. Yeah. Just to be clean, we'll yeah. I mean, it is already 2 hours, but we'll cut the stream at 9, and then I will come back later. I will come back later to just like see what happened with the rest of the day and with the rest of the window, and then yeah, then we'll do a little analysis on it maybe tomorrow morning. But even if this is not a trading day, I'll still be fine with it because anything, just like looking at it again, it's like whatever we could have tried to do would have been literally forcing things. Do you know what I mean? So I also moved this volume node, which I'm trying to undo. Hey. Was this always here, or did I? No, this wasn't always here. Or maybe just like the volume changed. We'll keep it as is. We'll keep it as is. A big volume note though. Big volume note. Maybe maybe I'm just thinking out loud now. But maybe that volume node, this volume node here. Maybe that could have been potentially, again. Maybe this could have been our maybe this could have been our play for the day. Volume node to point of control, or that to previous week value area high. But it's one of those things where like everything in hindsight seems brilliant and everything in hindsight is perfect. But at the end of the day, it's about taking the trades that present themselves that are within your own playbook, and also that are in line with your edge, and also that also have a higher probability of working out. So it's that. So I think like just like stacking those up, and then if like nothing shows itself, then nothing shows itself, and then it is unfortunate, but yeah, you just don't you don't lose more than you were prepared to, and then also if it doesn't work out, it's I guess just one of those things where it didn't work out of like from your statistical model of this works a certain number of times, but yeah. 22 past 11. Let's see if we get this test the previous week value high. What are we saying? 582.75. Nah. Actually, we got like value area low. Do we flush below this? Okay. I think we might get the... Let me not jinx it, but possibly test of IB. And also a test of IB would make sense because then we would just sweep liquidity and then rotate to the top. So like a look below and fail would make sense. Look below, fail, gather the liquidity. Because there are people like me who also would want to, okay, there's two types of people who would want to take this trade. The people who would want to see it flush all the way down, right? And if you think about it, like these sellers were trying to get that. Someone here was the last seller, which sucks for them. But someone tried to sell this and it didn't go further. And they will use as liquidity. So same thing. So whoever would want this to move up is going to have to get as much liquidity as possible, right? And the only way they're going to do that is if people keep trying to force it down, So I would also manipulate it if I knew. Excuse me. Dude. Come on, Motive Wave. You know what? You wanna smart me? 574. There you go. Okay, so is this gonna be a look below and fail, or are we gonna get the down move now to initial balance? Again, if we do get the move to initial balance, we break. I want to see a break below. I want to see us fail below and then come back above and then retest and then go high. And then this would be my exit. What level is that? 596. Honestly, even like here, 592 would be a clean exit for me. Yeah. If we can get, Ooh. My laptop's heating up, boy. Yeah. I'm like 4 minutes away from close, dude. Not like from the close of the market, but like from my close, so if it's gonna do something, it's gonna have to do something right now. No pressure. Take your time. But don't. Yeah. Previous week value area high, eh? That's twice. That's twice it's held there. GG's, good game. That's 2 point of control probably at this point. Unless we fail to break, unless we start making like lows, then that move will be dead, unfortunately. Then unfortunately, our previous week value area high to point of control would not be it would not be the right play. Is that a retest? I think that was the retest. Could be. $5.20. Yeah, big buy. If these guys get result, then yeah, the straight idea is dead. Because I'm patient, but I'm not willing to wait another hour or 2 hours to see this tested. Yeah. And also looking at it like consecutively, it's like these guys try to buy it higher, failed. These guys try to buy it higher, they failed. If they don't get any result, then tough cookies, you know. To the value area, switch. Yeah, see now value area low is exactly where previous week value area high was. So now these levels are stacked now. You know, wish you could have done that earlier. But yeah, I think that's gone. Yeah, just to be polite, we'll see how this candle closes. We'll see how this candle closes and then we'll call it. But I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. Sucks that we didn't actually get an opportunity to place to get filled. We did place orders, they just didn't get filled. So there is that. But yeah, our point of control shifted lower also. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's lower now. So, you know, um, the market, the conditions are like changing as they would, but point of control shifted lower, which even if like say we had entered here, that would have been a target, right? That could have been a target. But yeah, but if you are in this trade, then of course, maybe like waiting for a retest of previous week value high and then like a really tight stop loss like there, because then if it does break below that, then your trade idea is invalid at that point. The cleaner trade is this one that I've put up on screen, which is the retest of initial balance. But for this, I'd want to see it break below and fail first, and then come above, retest, and go. I'd be more confident with that than trying to get it on the first entry, because it also, again, it could fall through. It could fall through, retest, and then fail to break that low, and then come back up, and then retest, and then actually go all the way up. So I don't wanna. I yeah. I don't wanna. I'm not gonna leave a limit order on just in case when I know that there's another day. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll try and catch it tomorrow. And even like look, the lights are off. It's much better. But yeah, it's getting late my time now, and as much as I would like to have something to report, I really don't. So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been great. I think what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll take a screenshot of this and put it as a no trade day. Yeah, we here. So new folder. What's the day today? Wednesday the 3rd of June. Yeah, I mean, I know there was like no trade, but I think just like journaling it and having it there. No trade today. All right. So we'll be back at it again tomorrow, and just that I don't do anything crazy, I'm gonna lock this all day, all night long, all night. Oh, set lockouts. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to place any trades here. until tomorrow. Just that I don't, you know what I'm saying? Just that I don't act like a, yeah, so that I don't act like a delinquent. It would be crazy if we get the IB play now. Yeah, but it is what it is, bro. Like I'm tired. I'm gonna leave stream. All right, chat. It's been fan fucking tastic. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Maybe there'll be something else. We will think, as I said, we will journal this and then probably clip up some parts, like maybe the Keltner channel parts, and yeah, just so you guys can have something that's shorter to rewatch. But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.